Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Pathological Lawyer Podcast. It has been a particularly pathological period in my professional career. We hired a number of people. We changed the way we run the firm. Everybody wants something. Older daughter went to college. My mother on the East Coast fell down and was hospitalized, and I've been flying back and forth as often as I can to shepherd her from independent living to assisted living, and it's been a challenge. In fact, I just got back here to Denver late last night and I can feel it in my face. But my blood pressure is low, my heart rate variability is high, my stress markers are positive. And what I've been doing is trying to pay close attention to where I manufacture resistance or stress or friction in the process. Not dreading getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to catch an early flight. Not dreading coming home at 2:30 in the morning after a 7-hour delay. Not wanting to or resisting doing projects when I don't want to do them. Taking a lot more personal responsibility for my calendar. And it's interesting because our calendars are kind of symbols for our lives, and I've found over the years, especially when I had my stroke 12 years ago, when I was in the hospital for a month, everything else had to rearrange itself magically. It wasn't easy, but everything got done and no one died, and it worked. Now, we all have seasons in our life where we might have young kids or aging parents, or we might have trials back to back where we really don't have the ability to eke out any additional time. We certainly don't feel like we have a lot of creativity or time for self-care. But during this period, I've been talking to lawyers and coaching some, and one of the questions that I've been asking based on my recent experiences, what would you do if you could win back 5 hours a week to do anything that you wanted with that time? And I've gotten pretty consistently 3 answers. 1, it's impossible. 2, I would just work more. Or 3, I don't know. I don't know what I would do at that time. As for the impossibility argument, if you believe it's impossible, it will always be impossible. Why? Because our brain subconsciously will always try to prove that our beliefs are accurate. And by that I mean to say, when we believe that we can't have those 5 hours, we will accrete or take on lower priority tasks that will prove that that time never was able to be used by us in a way that gave us life or inspiration. For those who say I would work more with the 5 hours, usually I find that to be a similarly impossible argument, right? Like the legal defense of impossibility. If I had 5 more hours, I would work more. Well, if you wanted to take those 5 hours and work because that's what you wanted to do, it gave you life, that's where you felt you needed to be or should be or wanted to be, fantastic. Not a problem there. It's when we're so busy that we take this gift of 5 hours that we've just created, give it right back to the machine at the expense of our enthusiasm, spirit, our design of our life that leaves us with no regrets on our deathbed. That's where I think it becomes a problem. And again, the calendar is a symbol for what's going on in our brains and in our hearts. And when we decide that something is important, it's very easy to create that time. Again, not everybody, not every day can do it, but 99% of us can do it consistently. Where it's interesting is when someone says, I don't know what I would do with that 5 hours. I just don't know. And sometimes we've just been beaten down for so many years, we don't feel like it's possible, and it's kind of a little bit of impossibility belief in there. But sometimes people are just like, I don't know what brings me enthusiasm or gives me life outside of the professional career anymore. Maybe it's my family, maybe it's not. And it's a really interesting question to ask ourselves, because it really tells us a lot about ourselves when we say, what would we do with that 5 extra hours? And if we don't know, and we don't ask the question, it will never be there, right? But all of us were gifted this life. It's a very short life. I've been on my deathbed a few times, and I know that I don't want to die, if I can help it, with too many regrets. And one of the easy, fun ways, like wondering what presents are under the Christmas tree when you're a kid, one of the easy and fun ways to try to figure out how you live a life with no regrets is to fill in that 5-hour block that you can create with things that give you life. And when you decide those things are important and they do give you life and they're worth reprioritizing your day, the time will come and then you can do those things. And you might be wrong. You might say, oh, you know what? I thought that was going to be way more fun and life-affirming than it turned out to be. Then find something else, right? Live the life with no regrets. And we've all seen the articles in the book that says when you interview someone who's on their deathbed at 80 or 90 or 100, one of the consistent regrets is, I spent too much time working when there were other things that I wanted to do. If you don't know what other things you want to do, just start thinking about it. Hope it helps. See you soon.